Millions of men have carried around for decades. Today, Oprah dedicated her show to men robbed of their childhood because they were sexually molested. Tonight, a Valley man in the audience shares his story and offers hope for other victims. Here's 3TV's Patty Kirkpatrick with tonight's 9 p.m. Extra.
There are 200 men in our audience today. Every single one says they have been sexually abused. It's a hard thing for anybody to say. A really difficult thing for men to say.
200 men, all holding up photographs of themselves as children, recently gathered at Harpo Studios in Chicago to tape a show that would reveal their deepest, darkest secret. Bill Harbeck of Glendale was one of those men.
You become the darkness. You are the one who's the problem. It was your fault. You asked for this.
His photograph was taken when he was just 12, the year his nightmare began.
He had a brand new 1967 Mustang. That's what I remember most vividly. And let me drive that when I was 12 years old, which had a lasting impression. But it was also part of his plan and structure to kind of groom me for what was coming.
What was coming was 7 years of abuse. Bill's predator, his great uncle.
I slowly started to bury it, and finally when I realized that this was going to be a secret when I was 16, 17, 18, the anger started to emerge. He promised me that if I ever got married or a girlfriend, he'd leave me alone.
So that's what Bill did. He married Jillian in 1975. While the abuse stopped, his secret haunted him for the next 2 decades.
But on the inside was this dark secret that was tearing me apart. And finally it came to the point where I couldn't do that anymore.
He told me 13 years ago, and we've been married 35 years. So that's a long time to live with someone and not understand his silence.
After Bill revealed his childhood secret, he wrote Shattered, a book that was intended to be a memoir for his 4 children. The process was incredibly painful, taking him 8 years to complete.
But you could write a chapter and then you'd suffer for 2 or 3 days, just recalling everything that you'd gone through. Like, I'd have to put it away, sometimes put it away for 6, 8 months and not even go back. And then when I did go back, I couldn't read some of it because it just triggered the memories back.
And now Oprah is hoping to help other victims like Bill feel brave enough to expose their past and begin to heal.
Her courage to bring us all together like she did, it was remarkable. The energy in that place for those 2 hours was unbelievable. I saw a mix. I saw some guys who really had been working at this for a long time. I saw guys that hadn't talked about it yet. Their parents didn't even know, and they were finding out for the first time on the show. They'll see them in the audience holding their picture up. It basically exposed this is an enormous problem. This is here, and we have to admit it.
Bill is now the executive director of Holding On to Hope Ministries. It's a nonprofit group designed to help other victims. If you'd like some more information, you can visit our website, azfamily.com.
Oh, I'm going to give you 2 quick perspectives because you guys that are in high school heard this already. I'm going to give you 2 different perspectives. Do you know how many church services I've been in my lifetime? How old do I look to you? Come on, be kind. Be kind. 45. Oh, you're my new hero. Okay. I'm 56 years old.
My mom's older than you.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. In 56 years, I've been in over 10,000 church services.
Jeez.
10,000. I grew up, I started in the church when I was 10 days old, and I've been in it ever since. 10,000 church services, and you know, in those 10,001 this morning, I've never heard anyone ever speak about this. Not one time. And I was in youth group like this, Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays. From the time I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Does that cover this room? Yeah.
Yeah.
That covers this room pretty good. There are 2 things I want to leave with you in terms of sexuality for you even you middle schoolers, because I was the same age, 13. Knew nothing about sexuality at 13 in 1968. Why? Because we didn't talk about it. Guess what? We don't talk about it now. We got to talk. There's a fascinating thing about that shower thing. Remind me. Because when I was in school, we all took showers. There was no big deal. I'm noticing that that's not modesty, but shame has grown within the culture to the fact, I agree, my kids, by the way, I've been teaching for 35 years. Junior high and high school. In those 35 years, I've never shared this until 6 years ago. What you saw there was my opportunity to be on that show and meet Oprah and talk to her and spend time there for a whole hour. They taped my story, and they used only a little bit and piece of it. But my story's in that book. And what is that story? When I was 13 years old, my uncle had started to give me everything you can imagine. Cars, motorcycles, trucks, the ability to drive and fly simulator airplanes. Pretty cool. Any of you had that chance yet? Anybody driven a Ferrari yet at age 13?
So close.
So close. All right? I had all those opportunities, and they all came with a price. They came with the fact that when I was also 13, my uncle began to molest me. Now you're going, gee, what does that mean? He began to touch me inappropriately. You can go from there. I won't go any further. It started when I was 13. It ended when I was 19, when I got married to that woman, who, by the way, has stood by me for 37 years, and we met when we were 10. She's the only woman I've ever had in my life. Why? Because God determined that she was going to have to be the one to carry me through a whole lot of discomfort and pain. You know how to play the Christian game. I can tell by watching you. You know the words to say, you know the way to behave, you know the things to do, you know to come to church. You know all the little games, and I can do it better than any of you. Because I've been doing it since I was this big. And so when I got married at 18, I figured all of that horror from 13 to 18 was now over, and I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. Little did I know that what had begun when I was 13 was slowly starting like cancer to wrap itself around my soul with little tentacles, and they kept moving and growing and twining, and I got angry, and I was unkind to my children and family, but on Sunday I was the perfect guy. There's Mr. Harbeck. He's a pillar of our church. He's a deacon. Look at his family. They're perfectly dressed. His children sing in church. He leads Sunday school. Isn't he nice? Yes. And then I went home. And Dr. Jekyll came out. Because I couldn't keep that secret inside all the time. But my family had no idea what the secret was because I didn't tell them. So what they saw was anger, distance. Dad, why does Dad get so quiet all the time? Why doesn't Dad care about... Why does he get so angry if he just puts a screw in the wall wrong? Why does he do that? What's wrong with him? When in 1996 I sat in an Olive Garden restaurant and I blurted out for the first time I was sexually abused as a child to my wife. And for the next 45 minutes I cried in that they wanted to call the paramedics. They thought I was dying. I was weeping in an Olive Garden. Who does that? The food's not that bad.
Olive Garden.
I do too. That's why we're there. But there in the breadsticks and the salad were my tears, and we couldn't go on, so we had to leave. That was 16 years ago. It took me 21 years to get to that spot. I wish I could tell you that what happened to me was easy to go through. I wish I could tell you that the healing process since that has been easy, but I can't.